I guess this is like the second time I've done a live video. Also, check it out. It's my house. Woo! Um, to start off with, I'm Carson. I run Glasshouse Films. I do the midnight reviews and other short films and shit. And normally, if you've movie collection, if you've seen any of these before, you typically know how this goes. I sit in a car, talk about a movie I just watched, and then I recommend whether or not people should watch it. Breaking away from that format on the second occasion now. Last time was for the Cloverfield Paradox. That movie was. I still hold that movie is a lot of fun. So the reason why I had to do something after watching this movie is just because, oh man, I, like I was saying, Bad Times the Royale was extremely my shit. It might have been my favorite movie of the year so far. I didn't expect that like 24 hours later I would watch my next most favorite movie of the year so far. Holy shit. Apostle. Yeah, if you couldn't tell, Apostle is the name of the movie. Just released on Netflix, I believe today. So that's really cool. This is gonna be. I hope this is gonna be relatively spoiler free. I don't know. My mind has been blown, and it's also like midnight. Um. Anyway, hey, it's a very cute dog and pajama pants, but I'm a very cute dog. Um. Anyway, so okay, Apostle. Netflix film, and Netflix films can vary in quality. Sometimes you get Bright, other times you get Apostle. I still also need to see Hold the Dark. I'm gonna watch that this weekend. I've been meaning to get around to it, and every time Jeremy Saligner, I feel like I messed that name up. Anyway, anytime J Dog makes film, that film ends up being like, holy shit, that's one of my favorite movies of the year. And it's kind of funny to me because he and the director of Apostle, Gareth Evans, have very similar. They have very similar ways that they treat their protagonists that make their films much more impactful. Now, what I mean by that is you watch a Marvel movie and you're pretty sure that Captain America and Tony Stark and everyone they're gonna get bruised up, might get a couple broken arms and whatever, but they're gonna make it out of the film just fine. Gareth Evans and Jeremy Saligner, but I'm gonna focus on Gareth Evans for this because I just watched his movie. Do a remarkable job punishing the ever living shit out of their heroes. Like, oh, oh. I mean, I had a very visceral reaction to this film. I'm kind of glad nobody else is home right now because I was like screaming and yelling because I'm just like, oh god, oh why is this happening? And it was gut wrenching. Like I was grabbing the couch as hard as possible. Like what is gonna happen? Not just the suspense, but also the seeing what happens. And I think because of that, that is one of the biggest reasons why Gareth Evans is not only is a great martial arts film director, but he is I don't know if this is his first non-martial arts film. I know that he did The Raid and The Raid 2, loved both of those, and then he did another one before then. But I also think that was a martial arts film. This one is not, but you can see the stylings, you can see where he was learning his craft with that and applies it here, which is funny because there are certain sequences in The Raid and The Raid 2 that are shot like horror films. And the how you see characters dispatched in those movies is horrifying, but also the everything the protagonists go through in those films, you feel every part of that. But it's never it always gets paid off in some way. It, and that's probably one of the more cathartic aspects of watching Gareth Evans films is that whatever the villains pay to someone else, they get it back. They get it back in a bad way. But the heroes also have to go through hell. And it gives a very visceral reaction to these films. And Gareth Evans does an amazing job giving you just enough to like these characters. Just enough. I mean, perfect example is The Raid, where you know a little bit about Rama, not much, but you know a little bit. But just seeing him have to survive these things, you root for him. And then in the sequel, even more so. But again, that's sequel. That's not standalone film. Apostle with Dan Stevens is a hell of an actor, and I can't wait for Hollywood to be like, oh, we need to put him in everything. Just everything. Just put him in it all. And don't CGI him like you sons of bitches at Disney did with Beauty and the Beast. Um, Dan Stevens does an incredible job in this film, and I am so excited to see him in more stuff. And if you haven't seen it, watch The Guest. Also awesome. But Apostle, it deals a lot with and I think the punishment given to these characters and over time in this film, I think that if I were to have to say this film is about anything, it's about redemption and the trials and tribulations of having to redeem yourself, not only through your own deeds, but also being redeemed through other forces. I know that's a little hoity-toity bullshit, but you know, I'm just kind of going off on my own here. Um, okay, I've kind of danced around enough. What this film's about is it takes place in like early 1900s, like early 20th century, um, England, and this guy Dan Stevens, his sister, has been kidnapped by this cult, and he goes up and has to try and find her there. But what's interesting is from the word go, you know he's been through some stuff. You don't know what. You know he's gone through some things. Because I mean we're introduced to him pretty much I don't know if it's opium, but he's doing drugs. He's keeping something at bay up here. And it's and so you're like, okay, this guy's already pretty damaged, pretty tortured. He's very dirty looking, very scruffy, dirt under his fingernails and everything. And so he, but through that, you do see that he's intelligent. He isn't stupid. Um, because of the way that he gets to the island. And again, I want to stray away from spoilers, but the way that he gets to the island is very smart. And it's like, oh, almost immediately, smart characters kind of driven towards smart tortured characters. Oh, come on, give it to me already. Um, sorry, I'm holding up my phone here, hence the hand. Um, so anyway, so he has to go to this island and figure it out because he is way outnumbered. He can't just fight these guys. He's not a fighter either. So it makes for a very tense game of cat and mouse because they're also expecting not him, but they're expecting someone like him. And that that really drives a lot of the tension in this film. But before you know it, there are other characters that you care about in this film. And the way that you're like, not that you're told that you care about them, but just the interactions between characters. It's very light, but it's enough to make you like them. And so it's but also take into consideration this is a cult around the early 1900s in England. this is different. This is a different setting that I don't think we get a lot. I think the only other movie that's like that that's coming to mind is A Field in England. Um, and these are I haven't seen it, unfortunately, as much as I like Ben. I forgot his last name, but it's Benny and the Jets. As much as I like his films, I have yet to get around to that one, but I really do. But anyway, it's a very interesting setting, and you're having to watch this character work his way through it, and I think that it's very tense, man. Oh, it's very tense because it's also I haven't even talked about this. It's a very violent film. Holy hot damn, is it violent? Again, Gareth Evans, he knows how to shoot some violence. He knows how to shoot it. He knows how to shoot very injuries inflicted on people in ways that make you go, ah. So, just that alone is like, oh god, oh, this is very intense to watch. Um, so the other thing that, again, I don't want to go into the story, especially given this is on Netflix. I really this whole thing. I mean, I've been talking for almost 12 minutes here. This whole thing is just a plea to make you go watch it. If this sounds like your kind of film, if it's not, stay away, stay away. But if this sounds like your kind of film, definitely go watch it, please. This film is incredible. And I think one of the biggest things that proves that Gareth Evans he's got what it takes. And I want to see him do all kinds of genre films. I want to see him do it all. I want another couple of horror films from him. I want some more action films from him. I want a heist film from him. I want all these different kinds of films from him because he is kind of in that rarefied air of writers, much like someone I always talk about, Christopher McQuarrie, who they're both exceptionally good at bad turns worse, where they like pit a character in an impossible and terrible situation, and they know how to turn the screw to make it a little bit worse, and a little bit worse, and a little bit worse, and you're just like, oh, come on! And it's like but it's paced perfectly because it's like, oh, that was really intense, but I also get a reprieve from it. But even the reprieve, like, it's still there, and it's this gradual build, and it's just perfect. Um, as I said, this is I've seen three movies this year that have given me an intense, very visceral, very like groan, not like oh god, but like oh god kind of reaction. One of them didn't even come out this year, and that's Brawl in Cell Block 99. Which holy hot damn! I can't. I know S. Craig Zoller has got another movie coming out. Can't wait to see that one. But anyway, the other film that gave me this reaction was Hereditary. Hereditary. Oh, anybody who saw me coming out of that one, they were like, "Oh, Carson's spooked," and I went to go see it again, and that night it affected me just as much. I'm like, "Oh, this got to me. This movie, it's gonna stick with me. It's gonna get me. It's terrifying." Um, oh. So, two last things. I know I'm kind of going along a long time on this, but two last things. First, James. I know I'm doing a lot of comparisons here, but I also feel like you do that when someone doesn't have a large oeuvre of films to pick from. Um, James Wan directed, I think it was Fast and Furious 7? I feel like it was 7. And James Wan, as anyone knows, horror director. But what was interesting is the twists that he put on there. And I specifically recall a fight that Tony Jaa has with Paul Walker, R.I.P.D., in that film where Tony Jaa like takes Paul Walker and flips him upside or like flips him around and slams him on his back, but the camera follows it all the way through, so it's like you feel that impact when it finally lands. Upgrade, also a movie totally worth watching. gives a very similar feeling to that. Um, so so Gareth Evans, the way that he manipulates the camera to really put you into their positions and really just alter your perspective on all of that is mind blowing. Um, and then this last thing, I think Gareth Evans should, as much as I would love to direct a Silent Hill film, kind of think Gareth Evans should be the guy to direct it. Um, if you watch it, you'll find out why. So let that be a tantalizing bit of tantalizingness. Please go watch this film. Anyway, I just had to say something about it because I loved it so much. But thank you to anyone who watched this. I see nobody joined the live stream, so thanks, buttholes. Anytime you want to see me talk about films in the future, youtube.com/glassfilmshouse, uh, facebook.com/glasshousefilms, and Twitter @glasshousefilms. That's where I'm most active. That's where I post a lot of my reviews. It's where I talk about film a lot. So please, if you watch this movie, please comment below. I would love to talk to other people about this. There's some things that I'm very curious to know what other people thought of with this film. So anyway, this has been an emergency broadcast from Glasshouse Films. Thank you all so much for eventually watching this, buttholes. Until next time, next week, Halloween. So stay tuned for that.